Swamiji doesn't like the word using satsang. Satsang, what it really is, Swamiji has that sometime back he gave a definition of satsang. That is, you're in a group of people who are searching the truth. I mean, this is my own definition I'm saying. Satsang, people getting together and finding the truth. Truths. Sat is truth, or what you can say, the imperishable, and so on. So on, people joining together, so experience that jointly. In fact, it has to be experienced individually only. And we haven't got any topic. So we haven't got any topic. Normally we have a topic to discuss, and I suggested to him that depending on the number of people gathering, depending on the people gathering together, you may talk on anything you feel. And about Ganesh one, he is suggesting I'll read out. So one of friends, he couldn't come, but he sent a mail suggesting something. So I'll just read out his email. It's a bit long. I'll just do. He sent an email to me. I'll read it slowly. Okay, I'll read. Apologies, I couldn't make it. Until we reach a stage where we are above good and evil, which is a very high stage to accomplish for most of the people, 99% of the people, we are by our nature forced to pursue good and flee from evil, thus perpetuating our liking for good and aversion to evil. So, how is it possible to rise above this in the same lifetime? That's the first question. Shall I read the second one also?
Read it, whatever he has written, you read.
Okay. If you are only to be an observer to all the events, good and bad, happening in the world, then how do one actively contribute in promoting the good and abandoning the bad? Will being only an observer give rise to tamasic nature? Tamasic means dull and drowsy and not taking part is a nature, tamasic nature, instead of the desired sattvic. Sattvic means, Swamiji can explain.
Purity.
Purity. Your purity of mind, your that means you are evolving yourself. There's, in Hinduism, I think you'll explain, there's nothing like sinner. The concept of sinner doesn't exist. So is from lower self to higher self. Everybody is all going in the same boat. And people who evolve from lower self to higher self, maybe I shouldn't use the word lower, people who are just trying to discover own self, your identity. So we are all united in some form or other, so identity, that's what we are trying to do. And that's all the only two questions Ganesh has given. He is unfortunately not able to take part. But anyway, your recording, you will be able to see that. So I leave it to Swami Paramananda. I think it is probably not appropriate. I think if I can ask Radhikananda to say a few words about him. I know he has been in Melbourne. He's based in Melbourne, and he has been giving lectures almost every day. Every day
okay.
He's busy giving various subjects on Vedanta discourses, various subjects, and
confusing others and enjoying.
And been for, I don't know, 15 years.
I have forgotten.
So he came to Sydney. He was also in a job. He left all the job, and then he has renounced from the active family life, and now he has taken this role. So we are here to.
Radhikananda,
you want to say something? And very similar.
Add to more confusion.
No family life.
Why? This is all my family
The
life.
whole world is a family.
Exactly.
Larger family.
Vasudhaiva Kutumbam.
Larger family.
That way.
Okay.
That way. So I leave it to Swamiji. Don't want to confuse all of you.
No, confuse me. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. नमस्कार जी, बैठिए, आइए. First question was, how do you get out, you are caught up in likes and dislikes, then how do you start the spiritual journey? Stay there, how does it matter? Let the mind go through likes and dislikes, you watch. Simple answer. Simple answer. But then you will say, how do I observe? Then you will create more complications towards that. And that's why in yoga, a simple answer is, another approach is given, and that I have taken that topic at your place, which was, until and unless our mind does not become single pointed, it will not come out of this this continuous seesaw of likes and dislikes. See, at the body level, comfort and discomfort disturb us. At the breath level, hunger and thirst disturb us. At the level of mind, likes and dislikes disturb us. Everything, as we are going through our life, we are continuously dividing the world. I like this. Oh, this is a beautiful deck. What a wonderful. How long? If it starts raining, you will run inside. Oh, terrible deck. Same thing that you liked will become a dislike after some time. And what you dislike will start liking after some time. And this goes on incessantly. And as long as we give attention to these, to the objects of the world, and keep putting them into boxes of likes and dislikes, eventually it leads to depression. It leads to suicide. Those who are not able to control these likes and dislikes, they are judgmental, they are biased, they lose the plot, and eventually they are not able, mind is continuously dividing the world, and you are saying, mind is not in my control, what do I do, what do I do? This is the worst case scenario. Then what do I do? Go for drugs, go for alcohol, some people go in that direction. Some people want to do bungee jumping because they want to experience. The mind needs to get out of that zone of likes and dislikes. Some people turn towards meditation. Some people turn towards pranayam, etc., kundalini sadhana. All these are different avenues by which, if you are focused, you can come out of this likes and dislikes. There are many, many, many different ways they have shown. You can control your senses, don't allow the stimuli to disturb you. That is also another way. Stop labeling the world. That's another way. But what, in my experience, what I have seen is, until and unless the mind is not focused on something higher, till then likes and dislikes will continue to hammer at us. Because we already cultivated so many of them in our mind from the past, then they don't leave us. So we need the grace of the higher, we need the focus on the higher. Only when we are focused on the higher, then the grace will flow. But I need proof. Until unless you do not become focused on the higher, you will not get the proof. By looking at me, you cannot get the proof. By looking at someone else, you cannot get the proof. By reading the book, you cannot get the proof. You have to do you have to become focused in yourself, and you will come to know yourself. If I eat the chocolate and I explain to you, you cannot come to know what a chocolate is. You have to taste the chocolate, and after that there is no discussion, there is no thesis to be written that chocolate is sweet. It is your direct experience. A mother a girl getting pregnant and thinking, oh, what is motherhood like? What is motherhood like? How will I behave? This, that. She can keep reading hundreds and thousands of books and doing the research. But when the child is born, automatically the nurturing attitude, the motherhood automatically starts, expressing out of her. But for that virgin girl who has not experienced the first childbirth, how much ever you may tell her, she cannot understand. So is our situation. Until and unless we do not become focused on something higher and build up that momentum within us, the spiritual momentum, moving from lower to the higher, as you were saying, or what Ganesh was saying, from lower to the higher. But this entire journey, one must understand, is unnecessary. This entire journey is unnecessary. See? Why it is unnecessary? Journey begins only when we do not accept ourselves as that infinite being. That's when the journey begins. Start accepting yourself as that and start living like that. It's one connection. You have decided in your mind that it takes 12 years, 15 years, lifetimes of practice in order to recognize myself as the infinite being. Does it take anything? Does anything take that long? In Indian customs, I don't know, you must have, did you get married on paper at court or you had a wedding ceremony? Ceremony. Had the wedding ceremony, from next moment onwards, she became Mrs. Graham. She started behaving as Mrs. Graham. Isn't it? Think about it. Both husband and wife, both are bachelors before they put the garland around each other, and something shifts inside of them, and rest of the life they start behaving differently. From that moment onwards. And this is how we do, this is how, let it be a brotherhood, let it be a sisterhood, let it be a initiation that we take as a brahmachari or a sannyas, whether you go and take get initiated through a mantra from some master. It's that faith, that conviction that brings about this sudden change at that very moment. It doesn't take so long. Rest of the journey is unfoldment. Rest of the married life is unfoldment. But first accept, you have accepted. So when we say you are the infinite being, essentially, accept it and let the rest of the life be an unfoldment of that infinite being. Just like a girl accepts that she is a wife, then the rest of her life is unfoldment of that wifehood or motherhood or whatever she has become, is expressing through her. But we don't take it that way because we are not convinced we are infinite being. And that's where the problem is. And all scriptures, of all religions, are only trying to remind you that you and me and every one of us, that we are essentially divine. Never in the history of mankind, never ever in the past, all the gadgets, all the possibilities, all the infrastructure that you need, not only I'm talking about the roads, the hospitals, the welfare state, the Centrelink, the dole, the free medicines, etc. But we are talking about, I can at this moment, if I want, I can broadcast it to the rest of the world. At a touch of a button, I can see what is going on in the rest of the world. At a touch of a button, I can see the entire cosmos and the star patterns that are up there in the sky at this moment. Once upon a time, the great sages, they used to meditate thousands of years in order to get that ability. Today it is available to every damn person on this planet at a touch of a fingertip. At a touch of a fingertip. There has never been a time like this ever in the history of mankind. We are most privileged. We got everything. Microwave, 2-minute food, Protein shakes, build up your muscles. All tools are available. But we have forgotten that all these tools are there to make your life comfortable. But don't get lost in a comfortable life. There is a higher goal to achieve. Otherwise, a person from India or some third world country, he can't think of spirituality. Whole life he is only struggling to get some meal into his mouth for his family. He earns and earns and earns and earns because children have to get married, they have to go to school, they have to be taken to the hospital. Where does he get the money? From morning till night he works and works and works and works. But today is a time where you can, I know some big kids, they work for 3 months, rest of the year they travel around the world, exploring it. When was that possible before? Compared to Second World War, First World War, it is so peaceful nowadays. So peaceful. Nothing is disturbing your life. If nothing is disturbing our life, why can't we spend that energy that is not getting lost in survival? Now it is available to you. Use that ability, use that energy, use that spare time in contemplation that I am the infinite, that I am that infinite being. But no, we want the next latest laptop, we want the next latest gadget. We are lost in that. They will come to you. Did you develop them? No. Did you invent them? No. Someone is doing it, and the whole humanity is getting the benefit of it. Even 100 years ago, 50 years ago, all these possibilities of being clairvoyant and of being clairaudient and all these were only with few people, isn't it? But now, yes, today, I don't have it on my video, on my camera, but where I was staying in Sydney, in Newcastle, he's a pharmacist, and he got a video. They have, with experiment, worked out that one monkey can read the thought patterns of the other monkey. And they have done that with human beings also. Now, still more research, that means you can thought read other people. We know only a few people who can do it. And that too also because we have read their biographies. But now it is going to become a common knowledge. See? People used to get lost in the siddhis and the powers. All those, Kali Yuga is a period where all the siddhis are becoming gross manifest and not available only to the select few. They are available to the entire mankind. All the siddhis. Whatever we have in our life right now, they were all siddhis once upon a time, isn't it? Think about it. So it is the most opportune time that we are living in. So utilize that time for what? For being the infinite being. For just being, if you want to use that. Let's not confuse between being and infinite being. For just being. And that is enough. Don't complicate it more. Complication begins in Guru Granth Sahib, in the Sikh text. It is said, Gurmukh or Manmukh. Is your attention on the mind or is your attention on the Guru principle within you? The Adi Guru, the Sadguru, the conscious self. If you are Manmukh, if your attention is on the mind, mind is nothing but thoughts. Thoughts are always about the outside. Thoughts are always about something other. And once you become Manmukh, once you start giving attention and value to the various thoughts, you get lost in that whirlpool, and before you know, the world has sucked you. See? But once you become Gurmukh, Gurmukh means wherever you are, as you are, no special effort is required. Just sitting here, as you are sitting now, while listening to me, shift your attention to the one because of whom this listening is taking place. Don't be attentive to what is being talked. Be attentive to the one because of whom listening is possible. What is that power? Why a dead man can't listen? He also has ears. Why he can't listen? And why can you listen? So bring your attention to that principle due to which listening is possible. Right here and now, you have become Gurmukh. No special effort is required. Let everything happen. Let the senses go where they have to go. Let your mind think whatever it has to think. But you be attentive about that due to which thinking is taking place, seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, tasting is taking place. Be that. Be that. And the more we put attention on that or by being that, to that extent, everything in this world will start losing its impact on you. Right now, because we give attention and value to the world, we feel as if without the world, I am lost. Without, someone asked me, I'm going to catch the train, and my friend is asking me a question. Swamiji, no, not today, yesterday night. This is at 11:30. He says, and he's my childhood friend from nursery till year 12, we studied together in one school. And he says, can I ask you one thing? TV is blaring, he's listening to the news. But in between he says, can I ask you something? I said, ask. He says, my mother calls me every day. I said, good. No. Then I kept quiet. No, what can I say? He says, I also look forward to her call every day. If she doesn't call, then I call. Good, be happy. I didn't say anything. I said, good, and kept quiet. Then the bomb came. Is it good to be attached? Is it good to be attached? I said, you want a story or you want the truth? I can keep making you go round and round and round and tell you this is nice, that is... No, you say, Swamiji, tell me the truth. I said, tell me till now, everything that you have got attached to since childhood, has it remained with you? He says, no. I said, will your mom remain with you all the time? He said, no. But she's there right now, should I not be? I said, you decide. If your data from childhood till now says that whatever I have attached to, I have felt miserable when that thing or that person has been lost, and it all is directly proportional to the intensity of attachment. It's all directly proportional to the intensity of attention and value and attachment that you have given to that object or to that person. So if you have given 100% attachment to your mom and you can't imagine your life without her, then it will be, one day she will go away and it will become a problem for you. So does that mean that I do not take care of her, I do not listen to her, she enjoys listening to my voice every day? Then what should I do? What would you do?
Keep doing. You just listen to her. Detached attachment.
That's right. It's detached attachment. You are available to her, you are doing everything for her, you appreciate Hari Om. But inside you know nothing is permanent. Just like some people go to the crematorium, we all have gone, and whenever we go to crematorium, suddenly we see the foolishness of this life and we became so withdrawn, and one day I will also go. and I must change, I must live a correct life, I must be more spiritual, etc., etc., etc. And then after coming home, again we forget. Isn't it? Whenever we are attached to something, that energy that is moving towards attachment, it will eventually make that object or person that you are attached to, that you like that person or object, or you dislike that person or object. It will eventually lead to that. Spiritual sadhana is to remain mindful or to remain aware of both. Don't consciously get into attachment, to divide the world into likes and dislikes. If a person has become free of likes and dislikes, he is already automatically a sakshi. Sakshi meaning a witness. Witness of what? Witness of everything in this world. Our problem is we define everything in the world as like and dislike. That goes as a memory and it stays in our mind as a subconscious thought, a memory. And sometime in the future, in the right circumstances, again that memory appears as a thought or a desire, and we keep going in this loop continuously. But if we start being aware and start now. Whatever is there in the past, you are done. You can't undo it right now. And don't think about it also. Because if you think about it, then it will become more strong. All we have is this moment. And what do we do in this moment? We remain equanimous. We remain as a witness. Saying is very easy, to be a witness. How can you become a witness? Very easy to say, be a witness, be an observer. That's your next question, isn't it?
I know.
What did he say? The observer is observing something.
Observer is see, there are good and bad things happening in this world.
Huh.
If you just become observer, then if you have to promote the good, and if you are just observing, that means you are becoming. He is thinking it's tamasic. He said you become tamasic. You are really not experiencing your willpower.
No, he's
Yeah,
what he's experiencing is, just read it again.
Yeah.
He said something there which I missed.
Okay. If we are only to be an observer to all the events, good and bad, happening in the world, then how do activity contribute in promoting the good and abandoning the bad? Will being only an observer give rise to tamasic nature instead of the desired sattvic nature?
He wants to still do good in the world.
Yeah.
He doesn't. So this is good. He's thinking, he's contemplating, and he's in the right direction. He has to find his answers. But we will just think about it, what he has said. That if we are only an observer of all the events in the world, then who will put attention and energy and efforts to do the good things in the world? If you remain observer, then you are not doing anything. You are inert. Observer doesn't get involved, neither in good nor bad. Observer or the witness does not get involved in good or bad. Witness does not get involved in good thoughts or bad thoughts, good events or bad events. He is just watching. Then how will the world continue?
Somebody has to do the job.
You still
do it, yeah.
Say?
He still does it.
Who?
Well, I mean, that action doesn't have to be attached to good and bad. It can be action whilst observing at the same time. Otherwise, it is an inert life.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, but you can still be active.
Then you have to promote either the good or go against the bad.
So it depends on your attachment to what you see as good and bad, because then there's always wanting a result, and there's no acceptance within that result.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, it will.
It's okay.
Say.
I think you can be a Karam Yogi
doing the thing but still not feeling the effect of it, you know.
Observer is not a karma yogi.
No, means do the karmas because it is required in
No,
the
if
work
you
to
do, if you become a doer,
Hmm.
Then
you are
you-
caught up in the world. You cannot be an observer. You cannot be a sakshi. You cannot be the witness.
But let
Witness-
you come in that state that it doesn't affect you. You
Say
do
that
your
again.
karma. You do your karma, still be not affected by the.
Okay, so your wordings are a bit. It let karma happen, let activity happen, but you don't take ownership of the activity.
Yeah. The
And,
non-doership.
and the moment you take no ownership of the activity, then this question that he has asked, that we should promote good,
I am the
becomes invalid.
It's attached to a result.
It becomes invalid. When you become the observer or the witness, it is the flushing moment.
Yeah.
I take it that way. Because you are not identified with anything. The thought comes, the desire comes, the experience comes, it knocks on the door. Hey observer, are you available? And you are not. You are just accepting everything, rejecting nothing, retaining nothing. You are just, sometimes you see a dog, he wants attention, but you remain that, you are aware, but you are not giving it any attention and value. So if you are not giving attention and value to anything that is popping up in your mind, like it comes on the screen on the computer, eventually it doesn't go away, you have to press the cancel or cross button. But here in our mind, if there is no value giver, there is no one to identify with it, that particular thought, that particular desire, that particular emotion, that particular activity goes away. Then next one will come. It will also knock. Hey, anyone there? Anyone there? Anyone there? Sometimes it will come with intensity. Sometimes it will come in a hidden way. But if you have practiced not getting disturbed by any of these thoughts or desires that are coming and going, you become immune from their impact. To be this, and again, to be this witness, it's not that I am a witness now, I'm going. It's not. It doesn't come about that way. It comes about, again, we have to go back to the first step, which was you have to practice single pointedness of mind. And that mind must become single pointed on something higher. Let it be Om, let it be mantra, let it be on a particular contemplation. And when you are lost, just like your mind is so single pointed on sleep that you don't drop the world, the whole world drops you. Isn't it? Every night. Every night it happens. You are so focused on the sleep, you have lived a hard day, you have had your food, you have everything, and you, at the physical level, you get into the bed. At the mental level, oh, your mind is just thinking, feeling, I just want to be taken over by sleep. Why? Because you know, if you sleep well, next day you will be rejuvenated. You will have more energy to face the day. And with deep faith, with deep focus, but it is not a willful focus. It is a relaxed focus. You want to glide into it. If you keep trying hard to go to sleep, it will create more agitation, and sleep which was coming goes away. Try sometime. But when it is a relaxed focus, you are thinking about the sleep. As the sleep, you are thinking of the sleep, and the sleep is slowly coming towards you. Slowly, what you have to do in the world, what projects you have to do, what lectures you have to organize, what your appointments are tomorrow, are you the body or not? Slowly, 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 your mind starts emptying out by itself of the entire world. You don't have to make an attempt to take your thoughts and put them, like the Harry Potter. Who was that white bearded fellow? I can't remember his name. takes the wand, he takes out his memories and puts it in that water. You don't have to do that. And this practice we are doing every night. We know how to be focused. Right now also you are focused to whatever extent that you are giving attention to. See? So here we have a direct experience every night and every morning. With a focus, we start the day and make it yield what is required to be done on that day. And with that same focus, then in the evening, we put it on the sleep, and the whole world goes away by itself. Urvarukameva bandhanat, mrityor mukshya mamradat. You don't have to leave the world. Now, when you focus like that on the sleep devours your mind, and you don't know that you are in bliss until you wake up. Spiritual journey is duplicating that sleep experience consciously. Consciously. For that, just like you focused on sleep, we focus on something higher. And what do we focus on? What will we focus on will bring about an empty mind like in deep sleep. Think. If I think of Krishna, it will take me to Vaikuntha. If I think of Shiva, it will take me to Kailash. If I think of Ram, it will take me to Saket. If I think of Jesus, it will take me to heaven. Say that again? Self, okay.
Consciousness.
We have to think about something that does not leave behind a conclusion in our mind. Not neutral. No conclusion. If I focus on Robin, for example, Robin. I have seen Robin has a form. It will keep following the word Robin. If I say Ram, the form of Ram will follow that name Ram. Shiva, a particular image will appear in your mind. Oh, that is also okay. There is nothing wrong with that. But we must think about or contemplate on or make our mind focused on something that does not leave behind or precipitate any result. What are those thoughts? And all this focus business will begin with blind faith, and eventually wisdom will dawn. It will begin with blind faith. A child also accepts the daddy and mummy in blind faith. There is no proof. You are accepting that you have a mind also in blind faith. You go to sleep every night with blind faith that next morning you will wake up. There is no guarantee. You are living, celebrating your birthdays, that you will next year also you will wake up, celebrate the birthday. You will live till 80, 90, whatever. It's all in blind faith. There is no proof.
Then you believe in Nirakar Sarupa of Bhagavan.
Good. So then the point comes that we must contemplate on something or some idea which does not precipitate into a conclusion. And that idea can be the word self, that can be Sat Chit Anand or consciousness, existence or bliss. What does existence mean? What does bliss mean? What does consciousness mean? What does eternity mean? What does all pervading mean? What does self-knowing mean? What does self-illuminating mean? What does infinity mean? What does essence mean? What does dharma mean? When we contemplate on these type of thoughts, eventually there will be nothing to hold on to. That thought will dissolve as you keep contemplating on it. And what remains after that dissolution of the thought called all pervasiveness, you started concentrating on it, but when that thought also melts away or you merge into it, you become one with it. That is the truth. That is the reality. See? But if I take, suppose it's okay, Swamiji, that sounds fine, but my mind is not able to, it goes haywire here, there, how to do it? Then take the support of Krishna, Rama, Jesus, Devi, whoever, your teachers, bring their form, focus. And as I told in one of the satsangs, that okay, if you have a form, you can go, it will take, if you become focused on it, it will take you into Drishyanu with Savikalpa Samadhi. With the picture of the Lord, with the picture of your Guru, with the image of your Guru in your mind or God, if you are focused enough, it will lead you to meditation. But that Samadhi is with a thought of the picture of your choice. It will take you. And then another way, some people say we want to take the name. So that name also, if you focus enough on the name of the, or the chant that you have, that will take you also into Savikalpa Samadhi. Shabdanuvit Savikalpa Samadhi. Samadhi with a thought of a sound. And all this, if keep practicing, it will lead to Nirvikalpa Samadhi automatically. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is what? That Samadhi, that meditation, that contemplation in which the mind is empty of all thoughts. That is like deep sleep. Deep sleep is a state where there is no thought. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is a state where there is no thought. But in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, we are aware of the empty mind. In deep sleep, we are unaware of the empty mind. See? See, I was just reading something here, and here it says that 4 things. Dukkha abhava leads to bliss. Absence of misery leads to bliss. That's the first one. Second one, fulfillment of desire leads to bliss. Agree? Absence, I got cough. If someone somehow, some medicine works on me, I will be the happiest man. For last 3 weeks I am coughing. Absence of misery. It makes my whole rib cage every time I cough and it's aching. Someone has diabetes, someone has headache, someone has migraine. Take the medicine. Peace, joy. I'm thinking clearly now. Dukkha abhava. Absence of misery leads to bliss. Second is fulfillment of desire leads to bliss. I'm not talking about a desire to liberate, even any desire. It leads to bliss. We are talking about bliss. Third, doing what we have done in life leads to bliss. Nothing more needs to be done. So, there's no urge inside of you to achieve anything or change anything. That leads to bliss. And the fourth one, Vidyaranya Swami says, praptasya praptihi, that everything that was need to be attained has been attained. So there is eternal contentment within you. Nothing more needs to be possessed. So first one was absence of misery. Okay. Second was
Desire
fulfillment of all desires leads to bliss. Third, doing what has to, coming to this conclusion that whatever has to be done has been done, and whatever was not required to be done is not done. You are not, there is no push from inside to do anything or not do anything.
Is it not very close to the witness state?
Yes,
Sort of.
yes,
It is a kind of-
it will be.
lead to that.
It is. And the fourth one is that no more possessions are required. I am absolutely content. Now you think, if our attention is on misery, and when the misery is removed, bliss is created, isn't it? Who is miserable? We are taking the first point. Who is miserable? The ghost is miserable. The self is never miserable. Self is never miserable.
The thought.
Who has taken the desire?
No, we are not going to the desire. We are talking about removal of misery. What is misery here? Identification with gross body, subtle body, and causal body leads to misery. What is the misery on account of gross body? Pain, birth, death, disease, decay, isn't it? What is the misery on account of the subtle body? Kama, krodha, anger, greed, jealousy, envy, etc., etc. Right? And what is the misery on account of the causal body?
Expectation.
Causal body, merit and sin and merit. These are the three. Now, all this started because of you getting identified that I am this body, I am this mind, and I am this intellect. In other words, I am this waker, I am this dreamer, and I am this deep sleeper. This afternoon I went to someone's house. He said, Swamiji, is ego and ahankar the same thing? How do I distinguish between Jivatma and ahankar and ego and how do I do it? Ahankar means, I don't know how to put it in English. Huh?
I am.
No.
That's it.
Ahankar,
Small I.
Hi?
You can say the small I that
no.
I have achieved
There is no small I or big I. Huh? No.
It's difficult. Yeah.
See,
Just-
it's a very tricky topic.
Is it something like arrogancy?
Ahankar is, what we understand as ahankar is arrogance.
Yes.
But according to scriptures, ahankar is not arrogance. It is a phenomenal, it is a phenomena which is expressing the Paramatma, the infinite. The infinite is everywhere, isn't it? Infinite is everywhere. There is no place that infinite is not, the reality is not. Then in that infinite reality, where has this finitude come from? That infinite, there is a phenomena going on. See, just like, for example, sunrise and sunset is a phenomena. Right? Sunrise and sunset is a phenomena. But is there sunrise and sunset? But our eyes are seeing it. So, recognizing that sun does not rise or set, and yet you enjoy the sunrise and sunset because it's useful. It makes you plan for your day, and sunset makes you plan for the sleep. But you know in your head that sun never rises, sun never sets. So, what is sunrise and sunset? It is a phenomena. Phenomena is that which is existing in its own absence. Phenomena is that which is existing in its own absence. So sunrise and sunset, they may look as if sun is going down and sun is coming up, but actually nothing like that is going on. It's only an optical illusion. Exactly the same way, this one reality, for whatever reason, the phenomena expresses out. There is this phenomenon. We are talking from our standpoint. We see this phenomena going on. And what is that?
Then not identity.
No, I'll tell. Wait. So what is this? See, we are taking ourselves to be the individual. His question was, is there a difference between individual, the Jivatma, and the Ahankar? Now we have to understand this. Who is the one who is keeping the body together, the blood moving around and the heart beating and the breath going when you are sleeping? Is it the ego
No.
or is it the Ahankar?
Ahankar.
So that time it is the principle of the self which is expresses the Ahankar, which is keeping this whole body and this equipment together. Then which is that same thing is Jivatma. That same thing, Ahankar, is also known as Jivatma. Then what is ego?
Taking ownership.
The one ego is the one who is taking ownership of all the things, that I am only this body, I am only this mind, I am only this husband, I have got only one wife, I have got only these children. That fellow is the ego.
So
And-
will ahankar exist without ego?
Ahankar is not the ego. Ahankar is the principle which is present. It is only one. It is not one per person.
No, will it exist without ego? If ego cease to exist, will ahankar exist?
It will continue. And what is keeping a realized master continuing in the body? What is making the realized master continue? He still has the body. He is disconnected with everything, but still that.
His past.
Don't go into that. For him there is no past. For him there is no past. For him there is no future. Because whatever he looks at, he says, I am. That is his experience.
So this means as long as Jivatma is there, I will be there, Ahankara will be there.
Ahankar will be there. Till the body dies, Ahankar will be there. This phenomena of Ahankar, which is born out of, and what this Ahankar is, it's nothing but that one reality, as if identified with body, breath, mind, intellect, and continuing. That is, a child does not have Ahankar. Ahankar is there, sorry, does not have the ego. It does not have the ego. He does not say, I, mine, this is mine. Afterwards he gets trained. But as a child it does not have that. A dying person also, many times we see, if you have, I have gone across so many people, they have dropped everything. They have dropped everything. Yet there are many people who die in so much misery because they are holding on. Okay? So when this fellow, this I, gets identified with body, subtle body, or gross body, subtle body, causal body, when it gets identified with these three and takes them to be the only, this body, this mind, and this causal body is only me, then it becomes the ego. Actually speaking, it is one. And how I gave him the example was, imagine a cell in my body. It has its own function, it has its own job description. Maybe the cell in my liver, it has its own job description to produce whatever. Or in the pancreas, it is producing insulin. He says, I want to realize. Oh, I am an individual, I am the liver cell, I have got an independent existence. Then he comes across the heart cell. Arey yaar, you are one with the total. What is the total for him? Can that individual cell, is it apart from the total that I am? Is the life that is expressing that I am the life, is that not life expressing through every cell in the body? If that cell imagines that I am an individual cell, is he apart from the total life that is expressing here? Can't be. We can imagine this much, isn't it? Exactly like that. That Virat Purusha, the Vishwaroop Darshan that Arjuna got, that entire being, there is only one Ahankar. And in that, all of us are like the cells, if you want to imagine it. We don't have a separate existence. We are a part of that one. No wave has a separate existence apart from the water. It is the water imagining itself to be an individual. It's not possible. It's not possible. See? So as long as we are identified with these three, there will be misery. If we disidentify from it, we are the witness of these three. See? And as long as we are disidentified, these fellows continuously, they will knock on the door of the I and they'll say, give me attention, give me attention. But you do not give attention, you are equanimous. Because you have done your practices, you are equanimous. They will come and go. Again they will come and go. Again they will come and go. Again they will come and go. A certain, over weeks, months, maybe in one sitting, depends upon where you are in your sadhana. Eventually, it will not reduce completely, but a critical point is reached. A critical point is reached that the impact of these starts slowing down. The emergence, the continuous popping up of these, it starts slowing down. The moment it slows down, this fellow now starts thinking, I got nothing to witness also. I got nothing to witness. Then who am I? If I got nothing to, because why do we call it a witness? Because it's witnessing something, isn't it? Something to witness. You are an observer, you are observing something but not getting affected by what you are observing. A point will come, or as this data becomes less and less and less, gaps will start appearing between the thoughts. There may be a continuous few seconds, few minutes of absolute silence, and suddenly this fellow will say that there's nothing to observe. There's nothing. Shunyam, shunyam.
There's Buddhist philosophy.
But I am. And he starts trying to look at itself, but how can the subject look at the subject? Subject can only look at the object. See?
It will just be.
And when the mind becomes silent, if you give attention to there is nothing, then that becomes and eventually what your friend is writing, that there is darkness, there is nothing. He wrote in that last line.
Yeah, correct.
And that is the reason. So it is nothing wrong. That is one of the stages that comes. That mind, first it was observing something, now there is nothing to observe. And when there is nothing, nothing is tamasic. Mind is empty, that is a tamasic state. If you become identified with nothing, you will go to sleep on the seat of meditation. But if you are aware of the absence of thoughts, you are aware, you are the observer. Now you are aware that there is nothing, that this nothing and something, presence of thoughts or absence of thoughts, these are just happening in the mind. I have got nothing to do with it. Then who am I? This question automatically arises within you. And then this fellow, this subject, first it was identified, now it is disidentified. Now, because he has got nothing to observe, he starts thinking, then who am I? And the moment this subject thinks about I am, but
Then
no conclusion,
I am.
he falls back into his essential nature. This is just an explanation, but that is the falling back into the essential nature.
This is the same as what Christ said, I am who I am.
I am who I am. See?
say the
So-
ego that the doership comes. The moment the ego attached or it
Ah.
comes, the doership.
Ego, correct. Last time in here only we said ego is, it's okay. Ego expresses, you can't catch the ego. You are never given caught your mind what you are going to catch ego, how you are going to catch the ego. You can only come to know the ego as the one who is the doer and one who is the enjoyer. That is the ego. It expresses as these two. You take out one, the other has got no meaning.
Karta and Bhokta.
Doer and the enjoyer. You do something to enjoy. When you enjoy, you do again. And you get caught up, and that becomes your limited lifestyle. Now, my point again. We go every night. Why do we go every night to sleep for? Because we enjoy it, we unload the entire burden, and also we know that tomorrow morning when I wake up, I will be absolutely fresh, rejuvenated to handle the whole day with enough energy. Isn't it? When we go into meditation and we recreate the deep sleep state, experience consciously, the energy that you get is not for one day. It's for the entire life. You are awake to your own nature after that. It's not to the next day's waker. You are touched in deep sleep, unknowingly you are getting connected to the source that you are. In meditation, in contemplation, we are getting connected to the source consciously. So when this fellow gets connected, it is consciously it is happening. It is not by default. And when this conscious knowing takes place, mind has to come into existence again. It is not, it is a phenomena. You cannot stop it from not expressing itself. Realized or not realized, mind will come and do its job. But now, what is the flavor of that mind in light of this realization?
By subdued
It's-
by this.
It's sattvic. It becomes sattvic.
Correct.
Such a person cannot do any damage to the world. Cannot. He can, even if he tries, he cannot. Such a person then is, he forgives and forgets anything that is wrong done against him. His unconditional love towards everyone. See? And such are the great masters. We can't even imagine how they must be looking at the whole world. We can't imagine that. Scriptures only say few things, we can say a few things, but it's nothing what it is like.
It's like tasting the chocolate.
Huh?
It's going back to tasting the chocolate.
Tasting the chocolate forever.
This is not an ordinary chocolate.
Yeah, I know.
But that experience itself is limited. It will be like the gopis looking at the entire world. The senses are open, eyes are seeing, but whatever they see as Krishna. Whatever the ears hear, so many sounds, they are hearing Krishna. The nose is smelling, they are smelling Krishna. The tongue is tasting, it is tasting Krishna. The tongue is speaking, it is speaking about Krishna. The entire being becomes Krishnamaya. That is the way gopis experienced. No? So, what was the first question?
First question.
That likes and dislikes.
Likes and dislikes.
So
you
we
know,
answered that.
Yes.
And the second question
one
was,
is it was about.
it was
you
about
have to
observer.
Observer doing
If
the
not
good.
doing anything,
He becomes
promoting
tamas.
good,
Yeah.
then there will be tamas.
Correct, yeah.
We have answered that also. See, one thought comes to my mind. We go to a doctor. We have never met a doctor. The first time I went to a dentist, I didn't know the dentist. I allowed him to play with my teeth with the faith that he knows his job. I get into the train. I don't know who the train driver is, but I give my life in his hands to take me from one place to another. I get into a taxi. I give my life into the hands of the driver to take me from one place to the other. I fly from here to any part of the world. I don't know who the pilot is. He announces his name, but I don't know who he is. I never met him. But I give my life in his hands to take me from one country to the other. In all these various examples that I have given, we don't know who the driver is, who the pilot is, who the train driver is, who the taxi driver is. Yet we willingly give our life in their hands because we trust, isn't it? When we are living our life, we know God is the driver. Why don't you leave your hands in the hands of the life in the hands of the God? Why, when it comes to God or divine or the self, we start asking so many questions? Why do we ask so many questions? What is the sadhana? How to do this? How do I trust this God, if he's there or not? In what form? You don't ask the questions about the pilot. Is he Indian? Is he Russian? Is he Chinese? Is he? You don't even know who he is. At least here in our life we know it is God. It is Paramatma. It is that one, some divinity. Offer your whole life at his feet. Trust him.
What about cult and things, those kind
Don't
of
worry.
things?
Where cult? What I'm talking and where is cult here?
No, not yet, not in this sense. When we say we have to give that trust, many times people can.
I'm not worried and I don't care about people. What are you thinking? You tell me that. Not about the people.
Yeah.
It should be subjective.
Well, I have the faculty to use the reasoning, so that trust can probably be.
Reasoning, again, wait before you go ahead. Reasoning is discrimination. And what is the definition of discrimination? It should be only between the real and the unreal, not about cults.
That's right. Yeah.
So, am I at this moment, if you have the reasoning power, am I thinking about the self and about the not self? Between the two? But if I'm thinking about two things in the not self, that is not discrimination, that is not reasoning. So correct ourselves that way. So give your life in the hands of the divinity, whatever your definition of divinity it is. If it is the self, it is the Om, it is Jesus, it is Krishna, Rama, Govinda, whatever. Become focused on it, like you get focused on the sleep. Allow that divinity to devour your mind the way sleep devours your mind every night. And realize. Simple. That's it from my side.
Okay. You mentioned about the sleep. I don't know when I am really going to sleep. Nobody knows probably. But I know one thing, when I stop my thinking completely, looking at infinity, or blank, your mind becomes blank, then you go to sleep.
It has to.
It has, that,
If there is even one thought
yeah,
and your eyes are closed, you are dreaming.
yeah. So,
Then there is no sleep has not come.
so for a witness, to be you live in the state, in the waking state, just like the dream state. I'm sorry, the deep sleep state. So, none of the indriyas, not all your eyes,
No,
all
no,
the
wait.
senses.
The witness lives in the waking stage just like in the deep sleep state.
Yes.
No, it cannot be, because in deep sleep there are no thoughts, in waking there are thoughts.
No, no. Can you live? Can you be in a state that just like this deep sleep state, that I don't have any thought about anything what's happened? Is it possible?
When you are the witness.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to.
When you are the witness. Which means that even if the thoughts are there, events are there, experiences there is no owner born. He is witnessing, unaffected by whatever is taking place. Not defining them as, oh, this is a good experience, that is a bad, this is a good event, that is a bad, this is a good thought, this is a bad thought. No. Neutral towards both.
That's what.
Neutral towards likes and dislikes, good and bad, everything. Because world is made up of opposites. World is made up of opposites. You have to remain immune to that opposite. Now ice cream time.
Ice cream time, Maharaj.
है अरे देखा
Especially
with my throat, yeah?
especially for your throat.
Actually, we didn't even realize that it is there. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, you asked for it. So you knew it.
I don't know, I just said it because instead of chocolate I thought I'll taste the ice cream.
No, you read the mind.
I don't know.
You can all have ice cream with strawberries.
Even better. Coupe Danemark. Vanilla ice cream with heaps of strawberries.
Any questions? Anybody wants to?
Ask anything, yeah. Please, feel free.
Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om